Welcome to history class. My name is Jennifer Hobson-Plattner, and I am your history professor for this semester. I made this PowerPoint so you could get to know me a little better, and of course, throughout the course of our history class, I would love to get to know you better as well. Here are some pictures from a trip I got to take for a very special birthday that I had. I had wanted to go to Paris and London since I was in high school. So you have a picture of me in front of Big Ben, then the Eiffel Tower. To the right is the Palace of Versailles, which was just magnificent, in the garden. I'm standing in the gardens. The bottom left, I am at the Louvre, and that is where all the beautiful art is in France. In your bottom right, I am standing in front of London Bridge. Welcome. Again, my name is Jennifer. I'm thrilled to have you in my class this semester. I wanted to introduce myself so that we could get to know each other a little better and you would know where I'm coming from. I was born in Los Angeles, California, and moved to Cincinnati, Ohio when I was 5 years old. My background. My dad was born in East LA. He grew up very poor and he was born in the projects. He put himself through community college and had a wonderful career in computers. He used to say that he started in computers when computers were as big as a huge room, and they had little punch cards, and he would always explain it and show us the different things. Community college is super close to my heart. My father really invested and worked hard. He was working in a glass factory, and he invested in himself and his education. And because he did that, I really am grateful for the benefits that I received. Being able to go to college, my father got an amazing job in computers, bought a farm, and I had the greatest childhood. So community college means a lot to me just because of what investment you're making on your future. My mom was born in West Virginia. In order to get to her house that she was born at, you had to drive through two creek beds, and those creek beds were full of water. My mom was a homemaker, and she stayed home when I was born. So my parents come from two very different worlds, and it's very interesting and ironic to me because there's really three categories of historians. There's Americanists that study North and South America, that's their concentration, or Europeanists that study Europe, or world historians, and I'm a world historian. And I just think it's so ironic because my parents came from two polar, very different worlds, and yet I'm actually a combination of them. My family. I'm the youngest of four siblings. This is on a vacation that we took to Canada. I'm the short one with the bad hair in the front, and we are standing in Canada by the Atlantic Ocean. My brother Tim has on a big Liberty Bell shirt. My older brother John is standing next to my dad, my mom and dad, and then my older sister Sandy. So here are my siblings. Activities. When we moved to Ohio, my parents bought a small farm. I had the greatest childhood. I want to say we had a fourth of an acre, and we lived in Orange County before, and then we moved to a 10-acre farm. I played basketball and volleyball in high school. Also in high school, I found that history was my favorite subject. I was on the student body council in high school and enjoyed student government. I was a cheerleader in college, and I have to have the picture there to prove it. Education and experience. I went to a small private college in Greenville, South Carolina called Bob Jones University, and I graduated with a degree in social studies education in 1994. I taught middle school and high school in a private school for 1 year, and then I taught middle school, world history, and high school, arts and humanities in Dayton, Kentucky, in an urban setting for 6 years, and I absolutely loved it. Those students really taught me how to be a good teacher. And of course, I have to shout out to the Green Devils. I also coached the high school girls varsity basketball team in Dayton, Kentucky, and same place where I taught history. My three sons. I have three sons. They are the apples of my eye, and they love history just like their mom. So here are some pictures of them when they were really little in the middle. And on the left, our dog always wants to get in the picture, and that's Mac. He is very photogenic, and whenever I say, let's take a picture, he jumps in. Um, my oldest son is in college, so it's really interesting because he always says, Mom, are you being a good professor? Are you making sure you take your students step by step through the process of writing? Um, are you quizzing them on their reading, and are you making sure that the quizzes aren't too hard? So he's always keeps me on my toes, and he's also a history, political science, and philosophy major, so he loves history as well. They all do. And he also plays college football, so we love to go watch him play. He's a great big brother. My interest in hobbies. I love a lot of different activities. Here are a few of them. I love growing roses. My grandmother loved roses, and I have 100 roses around my house, and I just love the smell of them. I love to golf. I love to golf with my boys. We love Star Wars, and sometimes we dress up on opening night, but we enjoy it. I love skiing. I love the Renaissance Festival. I went again this year with my boys, and they loved it so much. We love to go sled riding. I like to run. My nieces and nephew and sister-in-law, many of us go, and my sons, and we do some 5Ks together, and it's really fun. I also love art. I love to paint, and that actually was one of my minors, or that was my major for a while in college, and I switched it, but I love art. It's just something that I enjoy doing. And I love holidays. I love to dress up for holidays and just make them super fun and exciting. And one year we dressed up like Indians and pilgrims, and just really enjoyed Thanksgiving, and turkeys too. I'm a huge sports fan. My two favorite teams are the Reds and the Bengals. I'm a diehard Bengals fan and a diehard Reds fan. So make sure you don't say anything bad about the Reds and the Bengals. I went to graduate school. I decided in 2013, I decided to enroll in grad school nearly 20 years after I graduated from college. I went to the University of Cincinnati and was given the opportunity to be a teaching assistant. I decided to get my master's in history and not in education because I wanted to challenge myself. And oh my, what a challenge. It was really hard, but I love history. But it was a very, very difficult program, and I just learned so much. So I got my master's in history, and I also got my picture with the Bearcat. Go Bearcats. So in 2015, I graduated with my master's in history, and I was able to teach on the campus of UC as a teaching assistant while getting my grad degree. And I presented my master's thesis at our annual history conference, the Queen City Colloquial. My areas of concentration in history are gender, art, and religion. My master's thesis was on the most famous female artist from Cincinnati. Her name was Elizabeth Nurse. The top left picture is her self-portrait, and you'll actually find that on a building in Over the Rhine. They painted it on a building. She lived from 1860 to 1939 and moved to Paris at the age of 28. She remained in Paris during World War I and received a medal from the French government for her tireless work to save Belgian refugees. She was truly a remarkable individual. My teaching style. I prefer a hands-on approach to teaching. I like to have creative assignments and help class look at the world in a different perspective. My background and experience in the urban setting, I believe, helped hone these skills for me as an instructor. I try to incorporate primary resources into every class. Reading the first-hand accounts of history allows students to receive a hands-on feel. For instance, in many of my history classes, we study the Japanese internment camps, and many of us have not even heard of the Japanese internment camps, which happened during FDR's presidency. And And when you really dig into that, it is very interesting, but it really comes alive and hits home, and you understand better of what happened and the tragedy that happened there when you read firsthand diary accounts of Japanese internment camp prisoners. And we do look at a prisoner's diary, and it is absolutely eye-opening. It makes you look at things completely different. So that's just an example. I try to teach toward a diverse learning environment by providing historical material in many different forms. I like artwork, film clips, recordings, music, and speeches from many different eras. I like a variety, and I like to be creative in my teaching. The most important part of this course is learning how to write a research paper with strong evidence and a clear, concise thesis. I'll take you step by step, one step at a time. Students are encouraged to tie their topics to their own interests and career choices. Pick something that you're passionate about. Please don't worry about it. We will map this project out step by step. It is so important, no matter what your future job or career may be, it is so important to be able to argue clearly and logically and soundly your point, whether you want a raise or whether you are arguing to protect some people that you manage. Being able to have this skill is really important and really does help you in the future. And lastly, I just want to emphasize, ask questions. This is a safe classroom environment. Questions are encouraged. There are truly no stupid questions in my classroom. I've provided my cell phone number in your syllabus, and I would really encourage you to use it. If you come to a roadblock or you come to a question that you don't understand, I would much rather you text me anytime. It doesn't matter what time. And I will get right back to you as soon as I'm awake or as soon as I see your text. And again, just don't hesitate, because I'd much rather answer your question and take away your anxiety, or if you tell me your computer's down and we can work together. My whole goal is to make sure that you make it to the end of this class and are very proud at the success that you have achieved. I'm looking forward to having you in class. Here's my contact information, jennifer.hobson@chatfield.edu. I've included my cell phone, again, in your syllabus. Feel free to text if you have any questions. And I can't wait for this semester. We're going to have a great time, and History rocks.